All right, so get this. The future of construction.
Okay, I'm listening.
We're going deep on drones today.
Not just for, like, cool videos.
No, no. Think bigger. Like, what if we could simulate entire construction projects?
Before even, breaking ground.
Exactly. Sounds crazy. You're right.
Kinda, but also kinda not, with
Yeah.
how fast drone tech is advancing.
That's what we're going to find out. Our guide is this awesome episode from Construction Innovators.
I've heard of that one.
It breaks down how drones are changing everything. Scheduling, safety, you name it.
I mean, it makes sense. Those traditional scheduling methods,
Yeah,
not exactly known for being super accurate.
totally. The episode actually opens with a great example of that going wrong.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
Site visits, reports.
Hmm.
By the time they reach the project manager, things have totally changed.
Construction sites are, like, constantly evolving, right?
Right. So the question is, how do drones help us keep up with that?
Well, think of them as a way to get a real-time pulse of the project.
Okay, I like that.
It's all about that constant stream of info. Images, video, you can even get thermal readings.
So it's like having eyes everywhere all the time,
Exactly. Everyone's on the same page, looking at the same up-to-date info.
which means way less miscommunication and surprises, I bet.
You got it. Saves time, saves money. It's a win-win.
And it gets even better. The episode talks about this thing called predictive insights.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Using data to anticipate delays before they even happen.
Hold on, how is that even possible?
It's all about patterns. Say a crew is consistently behind schedule in a certain phase. The data would show that. Maybe they need more training or resources. You can spot it early.
So instead of reacting to problems, you're getting ahead of them.
Exactly. And think about what that means for resource allocation.
Oh yeah, construction projects are notorious for that. Right?
Huge juggling act. Materials, labor, equipment.
Always scrambling to get stuff where it needs to be.
Drones make that whole process so much more efficient. And I'm thinking of that example from the episode about inventory tracking.
Yeah, with the aerial views.
Yeah.
Way better than someone's handwritten notes, that's for sure.
You know those 3D models they use? Often created using photogrammetry.
Photo what now?
Photogrammetry. Basically, the drone takes tons of photos and software stitches them together. Super accurate 3D model.
That's so cool, and that eliminates a lot of waste, right?
For sure. Order exactly what you need when you need it. Keeps things moving smoothly. And it's not just about materials either.
Oh, what else?
They talked about how drone data can be used to, like, dynamically allocate labor.
Wait, so you can move people around based on real-time needs?
Yep. This level of flexibility is just not possible with traditional methods.
Okay, that is seriously impressive.
Right. Speaking of impressive, they mentioned some great results from one of their sponsors, Aerial Decisions.
What did they say?
Clients who use drones for resource allocation are seeing huge reductions in waste.
Makes sense. Less waste means less money spent, and it's better for the environment.
Exactly. Sustainability is a big deal in construction these days. And, while saving money in the planet is great,
There's more.
the episode also dives into an area where drones have an even more crucial role. Safety.
Ah, right, of course. Construction sites can be really dangerous.
And drones are changing the game when it comes to safety inspections.
Yeah, no more sending workers to climb scaffolding or inspect those hard-to-reach areas.
Not only is that super risky.
Drones can even catch those tiny problems that a human might miss.
Like what?
I remember them talking about how drones can spot, like, cracks in concrete.
Oh, yeah. Or slight shifts in a foundation. Things that could become major problems later on.
Exactly. And it's all from a safe distance.
You get such a comprehensive picture of safety risks, especially those tricky spots like under a bridge or the roof of a high-rise.
Speaking of things I didn't even think about, drones and compliance reporting.
Yeah, that was interesting, wasn't it?
Drones documenting safety protocols and identifying potential violations.
It's like a built-in safety auditor. Help companies avoid those costly headaches.
And it probably gives them a lot of peace of mind, too.
For sure. It reinforces that culture of safety on the site. But, drones can't do everything.
That's true. They're great for inspections, but if there's a problem...
Right. You still need skilled workers to fix it. But things are changing on that front, too.
Really? How so?
Robotics. Think robots that can lay bricks, weld beams, even pour concrete.
Whoa, hold on. Are you telling me we might have robot construction workers one day?
It's closer than you think. And guess what? They can be controlled by, you guessed it, drones.
So drones aren't just monitoring the site anymore, they're part of the workforce.
Exactly. And when you add in AI and automation,
Okay, now we're talking sci-fi stuff.
it's pretty mind-blowing. Remember that part about AI analyzing data to predict problems?
Yeah, like a virtual project manager, always looking for potential issues.
Right, slowdowns, material shortages. The AI catches it all.
That's got to be a huge relief for project managers. It lets them stay ahead of the game.
Totally. Speaking of staying ahead of the game, digital twins. Remember those?
Vaguely. Remind me what those are again.
Think of it like a virtual replica of the construction site.
Mm-hmm.
A dynamic 3D model constantly updated with info from the drones.
Not just a static blueprint, then.
Nope, it's like a living, breathing version of the project.
You can visualize different scenarios, experiment with design.
Exactly. A risk-free environment to test out even the craziest ideas.
It sounds like construction is about to enter this golden age.
I think you're right. We can build bigger, bolder, more sustainably.
And it's all thanks to technology.
Exactly.
So at the beginning of this deep dive, we asked if it's possible to simulate an entire construction project before even breaking ground. Seems like we're getting pretty close.
We are. The question now isn't if we can do it, but when it becomes standard practice.
It's an exciting time to be in the construction industry, that's for sure. But with all this innovation...
You're thinking about the workforce, right?
Yeah, what happens to all the people whose jobs are changing because of this technology?
That's the big question. And it's something we'll be diving into right after the break.
Stay with us. Yeah, it is a big question. I mean, if robots are laying bricks and drones are inspecting bridges, what happens to the construction workers?
Right, that's what the podcast was getting at. They don't think it's about replacing jobs, though.
More like the types of skills needed are going to change.
Exactly. We'll need people who can operate and maintain these drone systems.
And analyze all that data they collect.
And troubleshoot when things go wrong.
So basically, a huge opportunity for people to learn these new technologies.
Could even bring a whole new generation into construction.
I can see that. For someone who's into tech, working with drones and robots would be pretty cool.
Totally. And the podcast host also talked about how critical thinking will be even more important.
Because even with all this automation, you still need people who can make smart decisions.
Especially when things don't go according to plan.
Which, let's face it, happens all the time in construction, right?
All the time. And we can't forget about the creative side of things either.
Oh, right, like with those virtual simulations. If you can build anything in a virtual world.
The only limit is your imagination.
Architects, engineers, designers, they're all going to have so much more freedom to experiment.
Exactly. They can test out crazy ideas without any real-world risks.
This is starting to sound like a golden age for construction. Building bigger, bolder, more sustainably.
And it's all thanks to technology. Which brings us back to that question from the beginning.
About simulating entire projects before breaking ground.
Yep. Do you think it's really possible?
After learning all this, I think it's not a matter of if, but when.
I agree. And when that happens, it's going to change everything.
Wow. So we've covered a lot of ground here, but what about the human element in all of this?
What do you mean?
Well, if we're moving towards a future where robots are doing more of the physical work.
You're wondering how that impacts the workforce.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to explore next. Okay, so robots, drones, AI. It's all very exciting, but where does that leave the human workers?
Right, yeah. It's a valid concern.
What happens to their jobs as technology takes over more tasks?
That's something the Construction Innovators podcast spent some time on.
What was their take?
They don't see it as jobs disappearing.
More like, those jobs are going to look different.
Yeah, exactly. Like, think about those drone systems. Someone's got to operate and maintain those.
Oh, right. And then there's all the data they collect.
Someone needs to analyze that data, figure out what it means.
And I bet those systems break down sometimes too, right?
Of course. So you need people who can troubleshoot, fix things when they go wrong.
So there are still jobs, just different kinds of jobs.
Right. And it's a chance for people to learn new skills, get up to speed on all this new tech.
I bet it could even attract new people to the industry, people who might not have considered construction before.
Yeah, maybe someone who's more into tech, Drones, robots, AI.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Totally. And it's not just about technical skills either, right? The podcast talked about critical thinking, problem solving.
Yeah, all that stuff becomes even more important in this new landscape.
Because even with all the automation, things are going to go wrong.
You always need people who can think on their feet, make good decisions when things get messy.
Which they inevitably will.
Exactly. And then there's, the creative side.
Yeah, like with those virtual simulations. If you can build anything you can imagine in a virtual world.
It opens up a whole new level of creative possibilities.
Architects, engineers, designers, they'll have so much freedom.
And they can experiment without any real-world risks, which is huge.
It really does feel like we're on the cusp of something big here, a golden age for construction.
I think so too. Building bigger, bolder, more sustainably, all thanks to technology.
It's incredible. So, we started this deep dive wondering if it's possible to simulate an entire construction project before breaking ground. I think we have our answer.
I think so too.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time before it becomes the norm.
It's a really exciting time to be in this industry, but also a little bit daunting, I imagine.
For sure. Change can be scary, but it's also an opportunity.
That's a great way to put it. So, to everyone listening out there, if you're in construction, get ready for a wild ride. And if you're thinking about a career in construction,
Now's the time to jump in.
this deep dive has been amazing. I've learned so much.
Me too. It's been a great conversation.
And to all our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey into the future of construction. We hope you found it as fascinating as we did. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep building a better world.